global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. Right now, all eyes is on Rivers State. Apparently, what is going on clearly shows that it is between the Rivers people and Nyesom Wike. No longer Fubara has backed out of the whole show. But let's find out really what is going on ahead of the local government election that made the likes of Loyalists and other supporters and loyalists of Nyesom Wike during their campaigns a few hours ago. They came out with all manner of instruments on the street to be shouting and screaming, who them be, where them they. Well, let's find out in a moment. And what INEC, or risec rather, is saying concerning the election ahead of the 30th of August scheduled election. According to the news, the two different factions belonging to Nyesom Wike and Wike Rotimi Ameachi, ever fighting for supremacy in the Rivers State All Progressive Congress APC, are sure to clash at the forthcoming local council elections in the state. Now, the LGA election is seen as the only genuine attempt to rebuild democracy in the state and use it to test who controls the grassroots political structure in the state from which to build a state structure and vie for power at the state level. Now, both factions have concluded their list of nominees to contest the August 30, 2025 election. The Ameachi faction, led by Ameachi, which was prevaricating over the decision to participate, has bounced back to throw their card into the game, ready to contest. They had earlier said that the risec did not give the constitutional 30 days notice. I'll take that again. The constitutional stipulated 90 days notice, which was an earlier reason for annulling the October 6, 2024 exercise, which was swept by the same Fubara camp. Now, Fubara, who is serving initial 6-month suspension, has surrendered to the federal power and his erstwhile godfather, Nyesom Wike, and thus has no interest in the LGA elections. The two forces now seem to be Wike and Ameachi forces. Wike is officially in the People's Democratic Party, PDP, but also controls APC in the state. Ameachi is now in ADC, that's African Democratic Congress, but his people in Rivers State are still holding out in the APC. The camp sprang up Wednesday, August 13, 2025, handing a warning to Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, risec, against accepting any list of candidates from any group other than the Becker-led State Executive Committee. Addressing the press conference at the party secretariat in the GRA in Port Harcourt, Darlington Nwoju, the publicity secretary of the faction, made it clear that there is a subsisting judgment in Rivers State APC which has not been vacated, and that the judgment recognizes Becker as the true chairman of the APC in Rivers State. So the APC in Rivers State, recognized by law, has written to risec not to deal with any other person for the APC. This is like a covered emptor. He went on saying, should risec fail to recognize persons known to the law who should submit our candidates, then they seek disaster. In fact, risec should apologize to Rivers people for such act. If risec fails to deal with Emeka Becker list as persons who should submit the authentic list of candidates for the August 30, 2025 election, they will be creating disaster. Nwoju stated that they have been written to on official grounds and that a body of evidence has been attached, including court judgments, that if they, risec, still choose to deal with persons that were unknown to them or known to the law, it will show that there is a lacuna in the state. Another point we want to emphasize is that we appeal to the National Working Committee, NWC, under the pragmatic leadership of Gashwe Yewata, to fairness and reason look at the fact that there is a leadership of APC in Rivers State and that it should not be in context of the law of the court order, because there is a court order in Rivers State to that effect. Any attempt to continue to relate with any person known to law in the state amounts to disregard and disrespect. He stated further, I have said it before, that on the 29th of September 2024, the Chief Justice of the Federation had warned Nigerians not to override and disrespect orders and rulings of courts in Nigeria. We in APC in Rivers State warn against going that same route of disrespect to the rule of law and judgments of court. It must not be allowed for anybody to continue to portray our party as a lawless organization. Reacting to questions of if primaries were conducted by the faction, Wike said, I must state that our party has laid down methods that could be used to nominate candidates for any election. It has 3 methods of nominating a candidate: the direct election method, the indirect method, and the consensus. We have chosen the consensus method. Our party have validly nominated candidates for the 23 local government areas in Rivers State. So anybody dealing with any other list not authorized by Chief Ameachi is acting outside the law. The APC is contesting the election, and our lawyers are interfacing with the risec in terms of submission of lists of our candidates. Meanwhile, the Okocha-led camp seem not to look back in their preparations for the elections, having held primaries and now set to kickstart their campaign. Some few hours ago, they actually kickstarted. According to Vincent Boesi, Special Assistant on Media to Okocha State Chairman, decision to begin the campaigns was reached at the enlarged State Executive Committee at their own secretariat on Abba Road. The statement said that the meeting was in furtherance of the preparation of Rivers APC towards the success of the party in the August 30, 2025 local government areas in the state as scheduled by risec. It is not clear which camp risec, seen to be backed by those who brought state of emergency, will recognize. It is also not clear which APC camp would fly the flag of the party in the local government in the coming local government election. But meanwhile, risec have reacted, because after a while Nigerians are wondering, okay, who will the risec choose? Because from all indication, somebody has to flag this whole thing, or else APC will be null and void. And this is what risec has got to say. Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, risec, has acknowledged receipt of a list of candidates from the Ameachi-led faction of the All Progressive Congress APC in the state. risec Commissioner for Administration and Legal Services, Professor Chidi Halide, who confirmed the development, said that the commission only received the list for record purposes and not for recognition in the forthcoming council election scheduled for August 30th. Professor Halide, while stressing that electoral umpires were not expected to dabble into political party crisis, explained that the commission had monitored the APC primaries and received a list of successful candidates without considering any factional disputes. The primaries the electoral body had monitored was for the faction of the APC led by Tony Okocha. He also maintained that the commission did not monitor primaries conducted by Beke faction of the APC, and that the faction failed to meet the deadline for the submission of candidates and expression of interest forms. Professor Halliday added that as a result, their list could not be considered valid. He further insisted that no court had the right to allegedly impose an executive on any political party. Professor Halliday said this is a commission that works in order, and we have our timelines. We had stakeholders meeting on the 28th of July, which we had a representative of APC in that meeting, if I understand you clearly. And secondly, in that same day, we had the expression of interest by political parties, which APC expressed their interest to collect a form. And they sent their list of candidates venue for the primaries, which the commission monitored. And we had candidates from APC without any factional dispute. So to us, you don't buy way after the process, after the primaries is over, you can't start submitting your list. He added that APC had their primaries, picked up the expression of interest, and with what they brought to us, we conducted the primaries. Shikena. I don't know how to make this, but I just hope that eventually that we will not see something that will fly out on that day. Let's put in that conversation also take.